Okay, so today we are here to discuss about the wave in plasmas. So mainly in this section we need to discuss about plasma oscillation, and we need to discuss two more topics, that is about hydromagnetic wave and magnetosonic wave. So for this part of the discussion you can refer in Chen's textbook chapter number 4, 4.3 and 4.18 and 4.19 section. That are the section that is important for your syllabus point of view. So other discussions are will be also done in the meantime, just for a introduction to the waves that is propagating in plasma. Okay, so now the main idea we need to discuss is about the waves in plasma. So what are the we already know that the plasma contains ions, electrons, and there will be a neutral particles as well. So that's why we call it as quasi neutrality. That's one of the features of plasma. Then thereafter we have discussed in the last section about how do we explain a phenomena of motion of particles in a plasma. For that we have introduced there are two ways you can discuss the mechanism of motion of particle in plasma. That is, one of the method is fluid equation method, equation of motion, and the other one is using kinetic theory. The kinetic theory part will be discussed in the next lecture. Today, before going to the kinetic theory, we are here to discuss about the waves in plasma, because we know in a plasma there will be electric field and magnetic field generated by the charged particle present in the plasma. So we know that when there is an electric field and the magnetic field which are coupled together, there is a electromagnetic wave will originate. Okay, so the wave propagate in a plasma, then we can call as an electromagnetic wave that is present in a plasma. Or rather you can say that if you have a plasma, like keep it as a dielectric material, you just imagine as a dielectric plate, then you send a electromagnetic wave through the plasma. What are the phenomena can happen to the plasma? So what will be the resonant frequency of that plasma, which we will be addressing in the plasma oscillation session. Before going to in detail about that, so first we will discuss about the representation of waves in plasma. How do we represent waves in a plasma? For that we know that the number density of the particle present in the plasma can be, it's a combination of the, it can be either neutral particle, then we will have a n1 which is actually represent the number of the electrons and the number of the ions representing in the waves. For example, here you represent n0 like this, and n1 we treat it as n e raised to I k dot r minus omega t, which is actually representing the plane wave which is corresponding to the electrons and charged particle. As you simply you can say that it is the plane wave that is correspond to the charged particle present in the plasma material. And now also we know that what is k dot r is. K dot r is kxx plus kyy plus kzz. In this k dot, where k is the wave vector, omega is the angular frequency, t is the time, and r is the position vector that is representing the direction of the wave. Okay, so in one dimension if you represent this equation, you can simply represent as n equal to n0 plus n e raised to I kx, where we are treating only one coordinate of direction, or one direction of propagation, that is x, minus omega t. Also we know that this x is representing the direction of propagation of wave in the plasma. Okay, now the density of the sinusoidal oscillation to be measured, if you want to measure the number of the particle density in the this one, then you want to get n bar cos kx omega minus omega t will give you the density of the sinusoidal oscillation in the measured condition. And now we can see here the wave is propagating along x direction with t equal to t2, as there are two waves present here. Then these are one wave is starting from this position, and t, where the t equal to t1, and we have t equal to t2. There are two waves are propagating along x direction with a small time delay, as you can see in the figure. So in a plasma as well, when you you know that there is a principle of superposition principle. So if you want to accommodate n number of waves, you have to add together. For example, if you want to, the volume, the amplitude of a first wave is E1, and the second wave is E2, and the third wave is E3, and the total amplitude, if you want to represent, you can simply represent it as E equal to E1 plus E2 plus E3. That is about superposition principle. Okay, so like here also you can apply that same kind of superposition principle in the case of waves in plasma as well. So at an observation phase, we'll have a phase will be phi 0 equal to kx minus omega t, where phi 0 equal to 0, phi 0 equal to 0. Okay, at that time we can represent kx minus omega t is phi 0. And here, so what is the case? In that case, there is no phase change between the two waves that is moving along this direction. So here you can see the number density with respect to phi. Okay, where you can see the time lag between two waves are, there is no time lag between T1 and T2, so which is overlapping over one wave, like it is propagating. And now you take the change in phase in with respect to time, then you can see that it will be 0 because there is no phase change. Then if you d phi 0 equal to 0 in that case. And similarly in the x coordinate, now if you represent d by dt, where kx minus omega t, which is equal to 0 as we know, and phi 0 is kx minus omega t, from k into dx by dt minus omega will be equal to 0. In that respect, we'll get a relation dx by dt. Okay, you can take this omega on the either side. Okay, then k into dx by dt is equal to omega. From that, dx by dt will be omega by k. What is omega by k? We already represented this equation in several times in our discussion of electrodynamics. It's about the velocity. Okay, where omega is the angular frequency and k is the wave vector. Then you will be corresponding the phase velocity of this one. Okay, you will be getting the phase velocity correspond to that equation. Okay, clear? That's the case for a particular wave. In that case, now we consider we have a complex amplitude E equal to ec e raised to I kx minus omega t, where ec is a complex function as you know. So in a medium there may be many waves and each has its own phase, as I said already about the superposition principle. And like here, in a media, there may be many waves, each has its own phase. That is E equal to E bar cos kz kx minus omega t plus delta, where E bar is a real part. And again, or E equal to, rather we can represent as e raised to I, this cos term we can represent in terms of exponential term, E bar e raised to I kx minus omega t plus delta, sorry, which is equal to E bar e raised to I delta e raised to I kz minus omega t. We can write this equation in this form. We can take the I delta outside and e raised to I delta e raised to I kz kx minus omega t, which is equal to ec bar e raised to I kx minus omega t. Okay, for ec represent the complex function. Okay, now if you represent what is ec bar means, it is e bar e raised to I delta, where e bar cos delta plus I e bar sin delta will be the corresponding function, because e raised to I delta you can represent in terms of cos delta plus I sin delta. Okay, that is already clear. I think we have done in many several times in our discussion so far. So from that, the tan delta you can get it as imaginary EC divided by real EC, which is called the tangent loss function. Okay, loss tangent function. It is actually the imaginary EC. It is a complex function divided by the complex amplitude, real part of the complex amplitude. Okay, then in this case, the wave propagating, we have two waves EA and EB, though these are propagating along this direction, then EB will be, EC will be at this position, which is actually a superpositive wave of EA and EB. So in general, so we can represent that the complex amplitude or the electric field can be, we can represent in terms of the plane wave solution, that is E equal to E bar e raised to I kx minus omega t, where E bar is the a complex function. Okay, so simply we can represent the electric field as a plane wave solution, because we know how do we find the plane wave solution from Maxwell equation and all that already we have discussed in the section of Maxwell equation in terms of wave equation. Okay, so here this is a plane wave solution for electric field. Now we have discussed about the group velocity discussion, where we have E1 equal to E0 k plus delta k into x omega plus delta omega t. This is one of the function with a there is a slightly change in delta k and delta omega. Okay, where the frequency is changed by delta omega and there is a corresponding change in wave vector. So we have represented two waves E1 and E2 in terms of k plus k delta kx omega plus delta omega t and k minus delta kx minus omega minus delta omega t. That is, simply you can represent this as E0 cos A plus B, E0 cos A minus B representation, where A is equal to kx minus omega t, B equal to delta kx minus delta omega t. And finally you will be getting the total amplitude will be E1 plus E2, then it will be E0 cos A plus B cos A minus B. So if you can write this equation in terms of this one, this is called superposition principle. Okay, and now if you expand this one cos A plus B cos A minus B, then you will be the expansion will be like this, and finally you will be getting 2E0 cos A cos B and 2E0 cos delta kx minus delta omega t cos kx minus omega t, where Vg equal to the group velocity when you have a two-wave propagating in direction. Here you can see there is a larger amplitude wave and there is a smaller amplitude within the wave. So the group velocity of this one is equal to delta omega by delta k. Similar derivation we have already done in the sections of plane electromagnetic wave. So I am not discussing much in detail because that is not the important point of discussion for today. Okay, and here we have Vg equal to d omega by dk when we have the velocity is very less than the speed of light. Okay, then you can represent that Vg delta omega by delta k in terms of d omega by dk. Okay, now if you have two waves like here E1 and E2, and the combined wave will be E1 plus E2 will be like this. The amplitude will be slightly increased compared to the E1 and E2 in that case. Okay, if you have any doubts on any point, you can interrupt in between and ask the doubt. Okay, so don't hesitate to do that. Then now we'll have a relation, that is E of k with respect to k. If you plot, then the wave will be like this. And if similarly if you represent the angular frequency with respect to k, and the corresponding plot will be look like this, where you can see that the angular frequency is decreasing at k is equal to 0. The angular frequency is very small, and it is again increasing as the k value is increasing. Okay, this part of the representation is very important. Note here, when you discuss in the solid state physics, where you understand the optical lattice vibration and all, where you can see the similar plot, where you can see the angular frequency with this k graph, which is actually this point. Normally we note it at the brilliant zone corresponding to the section. You will discuss that in the next semester when you are discussing the material science, what is brilliant zone and those discussion. But you can just take a note of this graph. You will be seeing the similar graph in those discussion as well. Here mainly I want to say is about when we consider the phase velocity, this will be equal to omega k0 by k0, and Vg it is d omega by dk at k equal to 0. So what is k equal to 0? At this position we can find it as. Okay, and here k0 is the maximum amplitude, as you can see the corresponding section. This is the maximum amplitude where you observe. Okay, so that is why, so when you have k0 at this point, which is dominated by the phase velocity at k equal to k0, the main phase velocity is dominating at this position, and all other region the group velocity will be dominating in the combined velocity of this one. So this is a representation of a e of xt. You can see a e of xt here. That is a position vector. X is representing the position and t is the type. And you can see on the either side we represent the same equation we converted into wave vector and angular frequency terms. So this is we can call as a Fourier transform pair of electric field. So details about Fourier transform maybe already you have studied in mathematical physics. Otherwise we will be studying in the later sections of mathematical physics first. Okay. So we don't want to discuss much details about this here. So we'll go to plasma oscillation. So this is very important aspect of discussion. That is a main discussion point of for today. So we are, as we know, for when you consider a plasma, so we have a positive and negative ions will be present there. So as it positive ions and negative electrons, and when you have a without any oscillation, which is actually formed as a neutral values. And if you apply electric force, when you apply an electric field across this magnetic field, sorry, when you apply electric field to this plasma, then there will be a force that is on this direction, which is Fe. It is a electric force applied to the plasma, and the electrons shifted causes the plasma oscillating with the plasma frequency. So when you apply a electric field to a plasma, so there will be a separation between the positive ions and negative electrons, which is actually produce a plasma oscillation with a plasma frequency by applying an electric field to the plasma. So that's called the plasma oscillation, which is arising due to the electrons shifted from due to the plasma oscillation when occurs when you apply the electric field to the plasma. So for that the conditions required is B should be equal to 0 and uniform and infinite plasma should be there, and the kT, the energy kT will be equal to 0, where K is the Boltzmann constant and T is the temperature. Okay, for a cold plasma the pressure will be equal to 0, P will be equal to 0. So the ions will be in that condition, we treat it as the ions will be fixed, but the electrons will be oscillating on the either directions. So the direction, the change will be on one dimension in x direction. Okay, so we'll have an electron shift from a fixed ion position, so which is electron will be oscillating when you are applying an electric field and when you are removing an electric field, so which is called a plasma oscillation. So for that the plasma oscillation will happen at a particular frequency, which is called plasma frequency. Clear? To identify plasma frequency, we'll follow the condition where del is equal to x cap dou by dou x. Del is equal to x cap by dou x. As you already know what is del is representing. It is del representing the change in positions, change in positional vectors x, y, z. So we have del is equal to, now we are only treating in one dimension. So we have x direction, x cap is equal to dou by dou x, E equal to E x cap. So we have the electric field which is moving around x direction. Okay, then we treat it as del cross E is equal to, in that condition del cross E will be equal to 0. The curl of the electric field in that condition will be 0, and the electric field which is equal to minus del phi, where phi is the potential. Okay, vector scalar potential, that is the voltage as we normally treat it as the, it is the scalar potential V. Instead of V we have substituted here phi, so which is the E equal to minus del phi, which we will be getting the E value here. So in this case del cross E is equal to 0 as we get, because we are treating only in one direction, x direction. So when you take the del cross E along the x direction, there will be no parameter, so it will be del cross E will be equal to 0 in x direction. Okay, So this is called a one-dimensional electrostatic oscillation. So this is happening because the electrostatic force applied in order to get a oscillation. And now in the last class we have discussed the equation of motion. I think you remember that, the equation of motion, and you can see the equation of motion in the here. Here you can see the equation of motion we have represented in the sorry, one second, where we have m and e. N is the electron density, m is the mass of the electron, and v is the electron velocity. In the last class when we are discussing the equation of motion, we said that we are taking u equal to fluid velocity. Instead, for that we are treating ve is the electron velocity. So dou ve by dou t is equal to ve dot delta ve, which is equal to minus E N E E. So you know how this is coming. This is electric force due to the electron density Ne. Okay, it is similar like minus QE. Okay. So dou Ne by dou t. From that equation, we also said that there is a representation of the number density with respect to time. There is a representation like this, and if you have substituted that into the equation, you will be getting dou Ne by dou t plus del dot Ne Ve equal to 0, and we have epsilon 0 del dot E, because this is the Maxwell equation, and del dot E equal to epsilon 0 del dot E we can represent as epsilon 0 dou E by dou x, which is equal to E into Ni minus Ne. Ni is the number of ion density minus number of electron density into E will be the dou E by dou x epsilon 0, because this is the representing the displacement in the number density due to the applied electric field. Okay, this is actually representing the change in x with respect to applying an electric field. So this is called a, we can some way we can treat it as what is epsilon 0 into E, that is del dot D. D is the displacement current. So actually what is it is representing? This is representing the corresponding change in displacement current with respect to x. So we can say that this is a change in dimension, and this is the change in force, okay, due to the applied electric field. And here you can see the change in number density. We can treat it out by the this equation. Okay, so these are the three equations we have now. And by perturbation theory, that is a perturbation means it's a small amount of oscillations or a small amount of disturbance. If we apply to this condition, then we'll have Ne equal to N0 plus N1, and Ve equal to V0 plus V1, and E equal to E0 plus E1, where N0 equal to Ni is equal to constant, where V0 equal to 0 and E0 equal to 0, and we take N1 approximation. This term as we take it as a perturbation applying to the electron density value. So we are giving a small perturbation, small disturbance to the waves that is in oscillation. So we are giving it a small oscillation. So you can see that there is a small change in number density will be there. Then corresponding to that, there will be a small change in velocity can observe, and corresponding to that, there is a small change in electric field also can be observed. Okay, from that taking that to consideration, what is N0? N0 is the number of ion density, and which is equal to a constant, and V0 equal to 0, and E0 equal to 0. Okay, now if you treat the equation, the first order will be equation will be dou EV1 by dou t, and this equation will be a second order differential. Why? Because we have del VE by dt is there. So this is second order differential equation, and which is equal to EE1. Okay. So we have two equation here. If you substitute Ne equal to N0 plus N1, and we treat it as N0 as a constant, V0 equal to 0, E0 equal to 0. If you substitute that into the equation, you will be getting m dou V1 by, so dou V1, you will be getting that in the terms of perturbation value. The amount of disturbance in terms of that equation can be represented in terms of the perturbation happen to the system. It will be in V1 because n0 is a constant. Then if you take the derivative, then it will be second constant, then you take the derivative, it will be 0 will be coming there, so we'll be having only v1 correspond to that, and similarly v1 dot delta will be there for this one, and like this. And here if you substitute ne equal to n0 plus n1 bar, in that some case you will be getting dou by dou t n1 bar plus dou by dou x n0 v1 bar, which is equal to 0 as. And similarly on the final equation, epsilon 0 dou E1 by dou x will be equal to E ni minus n0 minus n1. We have substituted here on the right hand side ne equal to n0 plus n1 bar and E equal to E0 plus E1 bar. Okay. Hope you understand how do we get these equations. And in that case, as we know, in order to generate any wave in a stable condition, if you want to create a waveform, then you want to give a disturbance, right? So these are the disturbance actually causing the causing for a wave to form. So as you know, if you want to form a wave in a thread, then you want to stretch that thread only, you will be observing, or like in you as you observe in mode constant experiment. So you want to give some kind of oscillation or a frequency change in order to produce the oscillation that. So we treat V1 bar and N1 bar and E1 bar as the corresponding disturbance or the wave that is we are giving to the plasma, correspond to the plasma. So we can treat it as V1 equal to e raised to I kx minus omega t, N1 e raised to I kx minus omega t, E1 bar is equal to E1 e raised to I kx omega t. And if you take dou V1 bar by dou t, then you will be getting, this is in terms of V1 bar is V1 e raised to I kx my omega t. Then if you take the partial derivative of V1 bar, then as we can represent it in a phasor form, we will have minus I omega V1 bar will be there. And similarly, dou V1 by x will be giving I k V1 bar. We know that how do we get this equation? We have seen in the case of a phasor notation. When you take the dou by dou t, you will be have minus I omega. Then if you take dou by dou x, you will be having I k. Now, if you substitute that into the equation, the earlier equation as you see in here, this will be 0. Then we will be having m dou v1 by dou t equal to minus e1, because we have taken the second order differential equation of this one. Then there will be no term corresponding to that because its entire equation will be 0. So we'll have the first equation becomes m minus I omega v1 equal to minus e1. The second one minus I omega n1 plus ik n0 v1 equal to 0, and epsilon 0 ik e1 equal to minus e1 will be there. Okay, and now if you represent this entire equation in terms of a matrix form, then you will have 0 minus I omega m e minus I omega I k n0 0 e 0 I k epsilon 0, okay, n1 v1 e1, which is equal to 0. If you want to get this equation becomes to 0, then you want to say that this matrix should be equal to the entire sum of this matrix should be 0, then only this becomes 0 in that case. Okay, so we get an eigenvalue correspond to that. So we say that this is a forgot the name. Okay, I'll tell you later. Okay, now if you take the determinant of this function, okay, if you take the determinant of this one, then you will be having which is equal to 0. So we have e square ik and 0 minus I omega m minus I omega ik epsilon 0, which is equal to 0 will give you. Okay, you just take the determinant of that matrix, then you will be getting that like this, and from that you can derive an equation correspond to that, that is omega square is equal to n0 e square divided by m epsilon 0, which is equal to omega p square. Okay, where omega p can be represented as n0 e square, n0 e square divided by epsilon 0 m raised to 1 by 2. So you can, this is called plasma frequency. So we have said that when you apply the electric field, the electrons will shift on the fixed ion position. So from that, so which is oscillating will be, the oscillation will be with the plasma frequency. That plasma frequency will be equal to n0 e square epsilon 0 m 1 by 2. What is n0 then? N0, as we know, it is n0 equal to ni, so which is equal to a constant. We treat it as a constant value. So we can get the plasma frequency corresponding to this very easily, where m is the mass of the electron. Okay, so the equation, the corresponding unit of this one will be radian per second. Now, if you consider the omega p by, sorry, omega p by 2 pi, which is equal to the frequency. Okay, so then we will be getting 9 root n0 will be the corresponding value. You can substitute what is epsilon 0. It is 8.85 raised to minus 12. M is the mass of the electron, E is the charge of the electron. Here you can see E here, E is the charge of electron. If you substitute that into the equation, you will be finally get the plasma frequency is 9 into root n0. So it is only depend upon the number density of the ions. Okay. Now we have the omega CE correspond to a particular microwave frequency for lambda equal to 1 centimeter, f is equal to 30 second, then the microwave frequency will be almost close to 28 gigahertz per Tesla, where C equal to 3 into 10 raised to 10. Okay, so you can get a plasma frequency by in this term as well. Here you can see the C we are represented in centimeters, that's why 10 raised to 10 is coming the value. Okay, now if you the applied frequency it is equal to omega p, then the Vph will be omega by k, because at plasma frequency, the frequency applied which is equal to plasma frequency, then the phase velocity is omega by k, can be any value, and whereas Vg equal to d omega by dk will be equal to 0 at the plasma oscillation. And the plasma oscillation, in that case we can say that the plasma oscillation does not propagate. Okay, at the plasma oscillation there is no propagation of wave, so that's why the Vg equal to d omega by dk equal to 0 at plasma frequency. Okay, that's about the important discussion we need to discuss about 4.3. And now we need to discuss about the magnetosonic wave and the hydromagnetic wave. Okay, before that, this is a slight discussion. We need to discuss about what is electron plasma wave. Okay, so this is not that important discussion to be done, because for you the important part is plasma oscillation, and as I said, and the next one is hydromagnetic wave and magnetosonic wave. Okay, so before coming to the discussion, we'll have a slight discussion over here, then we'll come to the discussion of magnetosonic wave and hydromagnetic wave. Okay, okay, once again. So electron plasma waves are, as we said that for an electron plasma to be generated, when we set a condition for a plasma oscillation where the magnetic field should be equal to 0 in that case. For a plasma oscillation due to the electric field to be happen, so we said that the magnetic field equal to 0, and we treat it as in this case that KTE which is not equal to 0. What is KTE? Where KT is the energy correspond to that, the energy of the electron. So TE is the electron's temperature and K is the Boltzmann constant. So which is will not be equal to 0. And here also we treat it as one dimension in x direction, the propagation of wave, and which is uniform and infinite plasma. And here also we treat it as ions is fixed. Okay, the ion is fixed in this case as well. So the delta PE, the plasma pressure in this case will be equal to 3 kTe delta Ne, 3 kTe dou by dou x n1 bar x dash is the corresponding change in pressure due to the electron oscillation. Okay, and where gamma equal to 2 plus n by n, where n is equal to 1 to 3, where Ne equal to n0 plus n1. This is the number of modes n. Okay, capital N is the number of modes present in the case. And the first order representation of that equation, this equation is not to be confused. These are the same equation of motion as we have seen there, but there is a slight change is there. There will be an additional pressure term also we need to add this. So that is 3 kTe dou by dou x n1, because here there is an one more term will be there that we already said that it will be 0. Okay, in that case the second one dou by dou t n1, the number density, change in number density, we'll treat it as the same as we have seen in the last section discussion. And here the epsilon 0 dou by dou x E1 equal to E minus n1, because here we treat it as the only in terms of ion, the fixed ion terms. So n1 represent the ion density, sorry, n1 bar represent the corresponding oscillation. Okay, so similarly if you represent this equation also in terms of the phasor representation, then you will be having m minus I omega n0 v1 is equal to E n0 e1 minus 3 k t e I k n1. So this is the additional term to be expected for an electron plasma wave, and minus I omega n1 plus I k n0 v1 which is equal to 0, and epsilon 0 I k e1 equal to minus e1. And similarly if you represent the equation in terms of a matrix, and if you treat this equation, this matrix, the determinant of this matrix to be 0, then the determinant value will be which is equal to 0. And finally in this case the omega square will be equal to n0 e square by epsilon 0 m plus 3 kte by m k square, then half mv square is equal to kte. And the frequency in this case will be equal to omega square plus omega p square, because this term represents the plasma frequency. The plasma frequency square plus 3 by 2 k square v square th. What is v square th? So that you can represent that kte by 2 kte by m is the value correspond to the here. From v square th you can represent the equation like this. Here we can represent that v square th by 2 equal to kte by m. So you can see that kte by m, where te is the electron temperature, k is Boltzmann constant, m is the mass of electron. Okay, and this k is, the small k actually the wave vector. Okay, not to be confused with the Boltzmann constant. The small k is wave vector and the capital K in the equation is the Boltzmann constant. And this equation we can say that this is a dispersion relation equation, because you can see that there is a relation between angular frequency and the wave vector. and if you plot this equation, actually you will be getting a frequency term. Okay, so we can say that this is a dispersion relation correspond to electron plasma wave, and for that, if you treat this equation, the omega frequency was this point, the velocity will be 0, and Vg at this point will be 3 by 2 V square Th by Vph, where Vph is the phase velocity and Th is the corresponding electron plasma velocity, and Vph will be equal to omega by k, and that's in that case the frequency with respect to k graph, frequency with respect to wave vector graph will be like this. Okay, and the omega p will be occur at this point, and the corresponding representation of root 3 by 2h point you can see over here, because if you want to represent the v this equation, you can either represent root 3 by 2h. If you take the root vg, then you will be getting the corresponding velocity over here. So you just taken out of this figure as well. Then we have sound wave. So that is not that important discussion for you. So we will not be discussing much. So if you want to refer this part of the discussion, you can see in the slide, because it's not that important for you here. And here simply, if you want to understand, simply what I treated here is that here we take it as rho equal to a number density, because there is a representation of m and e. So what that we have taken as rho dou v by dou t, v dot delta by v, which is equal to minus delta p. This is a change in pressure, so which is equal to minus gamma p by rho delta rho will be there. So delta rho will be there. Okay. So this is equation of continuity, dou rho by dou t plus del dot rho nu, which is equal to 0. So we are treated, rho is the number density in terms of mass, sorry, rho is the mass density, because mass density is a mass into number density. Okay. For a stationary equilibrium with rho equal to p0 and v equal to 0, the first order part of the wave equation is in Fourier transformed form. So these are not that important for you. So I'll be just giving the phase velocity, in that case will be equal to gamma kt by m raised to 1 by 2. Okay. So this is actually generated by the ordinary air. Okay. In ordinary air, so what is the possible form of wave can be generated in a plasma? So it will be a sound wave in ordinary air. And the next one will be ion wave. Ion wave is that there is no sorry, in plasma there is no ordinary sound waves because of the absence of collisions. So we are considering that there is no collision, so there will be no ordinary sound wave in that case, because we we know that there is a two way you can additionally we can give a, one way is collision and one way is by the pressure tensor you can actually give rise to a collision. So we treat it as there is an absence of collision. The perturbation, here you can see that the perturbation on ions. So here the perturbation we are applying on ions, not on electrons, whereas in electron ion plasma we are giving the perturbation to the electrons. Here you can see that the perturbation we are given on an ion, so which is propagating through an electric field. Perturbation on ions can propagate through electric field where B equal to 0, and we treat it as the E0 will be equal to 0, Vi will be equal to 0, and N0 equal to constant, and the ion fluid equation becomes, in the case of ion fluid equation becomes, we have MNN dou Vi by dou T. Here capital M represent the mass of ion, not mass of the electron. This is the mass of the ion. Okay, so d dou Vy by dou t, Vi dot delta Vi, which is equal to ENE minus the pressure term delta P, so which is equal to minus En. We can represent E as the potential term, that is del phi, minus gamma I kTi delta is the corresponding representation of the pressure term in the case of ions. And when you compare this equation again like the form, then you will be getting the balance force on electrons equal N equal to N n0 e raised to I phi 1 by kte, which is equal to n0 1 plus e phi 1 by kt1. Okay, in that case the number of electrons should be equal to n0 e raised to I phi 1 by kte, where phi 1 represents the potential value correspond to that, ni1 equal to n1. Okay, so this is called the ion continuity equation, and from the ion continuity equation we'll have I omega n1 is equal to n0 ik v11, and finally we'll be getting the corresponding velocity over here. Okay, velocity of a okay. So in a case of Vg, it is actually the ion acoustic wave, that is due to the sound, ion wave generating due to the sound. So we will treat it as the phase velocity will be equal to the equation represent like this, where Mi is the mass of the ion, Ti is the ion temperature, gamma is the constant representing that. So normally for one dimension, gamma I will treat it as 3. For electron, so gamma E will be equal to 1 in isothermal condition. So the sound wave will be, there will be velocity of sound can be obtained when the electron temperature is very greater than the ion temperature, then Vs will be equal to kTe by Mi raised to 1 by 2. Okay, so that's a case of plasma oscillation. And now we are coming to the section of one second. Okay, so for that, for describing the magnetosonic wave, electrosonic wave, I'll just go back to what textbook said, because I forgot to include that into. So as I said, so here we have to discuss about 4.18 and 4.19 in Chen textbook. One second, let me just go to the. Okay, yeah, sorry. Hope you are seeing this PDF. So there are two kind of wave that is important for your syllabus discussion. One is about Alfvén wave, or we can say that it is a hydromagnetic wave. So what is hydromagnetic wave is that here we consider that for a hydromagnetic wave which is along the magnetic field B0, and the case of a magnetosonic wave so which will be the magnetic field and the propagating wave will be perpendicular to each other. So there are two type of wave. So it's a low frequency oscillation in the presence of magnetic field. So the hydromagnetic wave is generated by the low frequency ion oscillation in the presence of magnetic field, and the hydromagnetic wave will be propagating along B0, which is also called Alfvén wave. And there is another wave also there, that is magnetosonic wave, so which is actually where the wave will be propagating perpendicular to the applied magnetic field. So here you can see that the Alfvén wave in a plane geometry as along B0. So I will show the figure first. So here you can see that there is a hydromagnetic wave, which is a low frequency ion oscillation. Due to the low frequency ion oscillation, there is a wave is originating, and this wave, it is parallel to B0, parallel to the applied magnetic field. So then we can say that this is a hydromagnetic wave. So you can see that this is a geometry of an Alfvén wave propagating along B0. Okay, and there is also if the wave is propagating on this direction, or that is on the y direction, then we can say that this is a wave called magnetosonic wave. We'll come to the discussion of magnetosonic wave later on. Before that, in this case so here we treat the b1 v1 perpendicular to the b0 and e1. From the Maxwell equation, we have del cross del dot e1 is equal to minus k dot E1 plus k square E1 is equal to omega square by c square E1 plus I omega epsilon 0 c square J1. How do we represent the equation? So we can represent del cross del dot T in terms of, which is actually del square E, and this terms will be becomes 0 as we already know. Okay, then we have k square dot E1 will be there, which is equal to, we have the equation will be mu 0 epsilon 0 dou E by dou T plus mu 0 J, and similar equation we already seen in that case. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, from that equation itself, because del cross E is minus dou B by dou T, and taking del cross of del cross E, that is resulting that minus dou by dou T into del cross B, and we'll be getting the homogeneous wave equation correspond to that. Okay, when there is a non-homogeneous case, and there will be a current density equation will be there. It is a similar like as we have done in the case of derivation of homogeneous wave equation electrodynamics. Okay, here they applied the same condition, and you can see this figure here. So here we have E1 and J1. So J1 is the current density, which is on the x direction, and E1 is the electric field on the x direction, and V1 is the velocity propagating along the y direction, and the wave vector, the wave is propagating along k direction, which is actually parallel to B0. Okay, which is parallel to B0. So since k equal to, in this case as we know, the k we treat it as kz because it's on z direction, and E1 we treat it as E1 x direction because it is on the x direction. Okay, and J1, it is the current density, it is on the contribution from both ions and electrons, and we treat it as on the, considering a low frequency, the x component become epsilon 0 omega square minus c square k square E1 is equal to minus I omega n0 E into Vix minus Vex will come. Okay, so this is the same representation because we'll have del square E equal to, as you can see in the above equation, so we'll be having the corresponding representation. We can simplify in this term with Vix is the velocity of the ion and Vex is the velocity of the electron in x direction. So in this case, the thermal motions are not that important. So we treat it as the thermal velocity, sorry, thermal temperature corresponding to ion, we treat it as 0, and we have the velocity term will be Vix will be I E by m omega 1 minus omega c square divided by omega square E1 and e raised to iy e by m omega ohm c divided by ohm 1 minus ohm c square minus divided by omega square raised to minus 1. E1 will be the corresponding representation. The corresponding solution to the electron equation of motion is found by, we treat it as m tends to m and e tends to minus e and ohm c tends to the minus omega c. Okay, this is the frequency, the plasma frequency correspond to that, and we'll get the final equation as Vex is equal to minus I e omega square by m omega c square. E1 tends to 0 and Vey is equal to minus e by m omega square by omega c square. E1 is equal to minus E1 by B0 will be the final equation of the form. Because similar representation you already know, because Vey in that case you can see that Vey is the velocity in the direction of y direction, and with respect to E1 and B0, which is the perpendicular velocity, because E1 is in the x direction, B0 is in z direction, then Vy will be, the velocity in y direction will be, is perpendicular to the electric field and the magnetic field. So in that case we'll have the velocity will be equal to minus E1 by V0. Similar equation we have already seen in the case of a electromagnetic wave also, where you can see that if you represent, the electric field will be equal to minus BVI. So you can simply represent that equation in terms of that. Okay, clear? So in this case the Larmor gyration of electrons are neglected, and we have E cross B drift, because we have discussed in the last class about E cross B drift. There will be E cross B drift will be observed in the y direction. So for that, if you insert the solution of that into the equation, then we will be getting epsilon 0 omega square c square k square E1 equal to minus I omega n0 e raised to I e by m omega 1 minus omega c square. So not going to much detail about this one. The important aspect is that what is the corresponding omega square k square relation, the relation of the hydromagnetic wave. What is the assumption of? Very simply, if you represent omega square minus c square k square in terms of plasma frequency, this is equal to omega p square 1 minus omega c square divided by omega square minus 1 will is the relation between the plasma frequency and the cutoff frequency relation. Okay, so here you can see the relation between omega and k over here, and finally omega square by k square you can treat it as it is c square by 1 plus rho by epsilon 0 b0 square, where we substitute rho equal to n0 e square, where m square and m you can cancel, m will be the n e square, m divided by epsilon 0, that is the mass density. Rho is the mass density, it is actually n0 into m. Okay, n0 into m will be the mass density, because in this equation e square and e square get cancelled, m square and m will be cut off, then there will be n0 m. Okay, so n0 m we treat as the mass density. And we'll be getting that omega by q in that k will be equal to c by epsilon r mu r raised to 1 by 2. Rather, if mu r, the permeability in relative permeability, which is equal to 0, then that you'll be getting c by epsilon r raised to 1 by 2. It is the phase velocity of an electromagnetic wave in a dielectric medium. Okay, so the dielectric constant for a low frequency perpendicular motion, we consider that the epsilon 0 here, or sorry, the denominator value can be recognized as the relative dielectric constant for a low frequency perpendicular motion. So in that case, omega by k equal to c by epsilon r mu r raised to 1 by 2 will come into act, and so we call it as the phase velocity. Omega by k is called it as the phase velocity for an electromagnetic wave in dielectric medium. So as we have seen previously, omega is much larger than the unity for a most laboratory plasma, because we have seen in the last class the dielectric constant for a plasma is close to 190. It is very large, so we much larger than unit, so we take it as omega by k is equal to v phi, that is equal to b0 by mu 0 rho 1 by 2. So this hydromagnetic wave travel along B0 at a constant velocity Va, called the Alfvén velocity. Okay, the Alfvén velocity is Va almost equal to B by mu 0 rho raised to 1 by 2. So this is the characteristic velocity at which the perturbation of the lines of force travel. So now in this condition, the dielectric constant can be written as epsilon r is equal to epsilon by epsilon 0 equal to 1 plus c square by v square a, where Va is small for well developed plasma with appreciable density, and epsilon r is compared to very high value. So to understand what happened physically in Alfvén wave, we can recall the equation that del cross E1 is equal to minus B1 dot. What is B1 dot? It is minus dou B by dou T. So we can represent as B1 dot. Okay. So where Ex will be equal to, we'll be getting omega by K into By. So it is this is an electromagnetic wave which is fluctuating with a magnetic field. B1 will be like this. Ex will be omega by k, where electric field and the magnetic field is perpendicular to each other. Okay. So now if we substitute a small oscillation By added to B0, then there will be a sinusoidal ripple form will be happen. So this is called a hydromagnetic waves. Happens like a when you drop a stone into water, similar like a representation you can see over here. That's why we call it as hydromagnetic wave. Okay, so it's form a kind of sinusoidal ripple form. That's why we call it as hydromagnetic wave, because here what we observed is that it is an electromagnetic generated due to a fluctuating electromagnetic field. Okay. Okay. So that's the case for that, and we'll discuss about magnetosonic wave on the next class. Okay. So just go through the different case of hydromagnetic wave and the sections of plasma oscillations, and regarding magnetosonic wave, and the last portion of this chapter, it's about kinetic theory of plasma. It's about Boltzmann and Vlasov equation, that also we will be discussing in the next class. Okay, so hope you are understand what is the difference between magnetosonic and hydromagnetic wave. Here you can see that in a magnetosonic wave, the low frequency electromagnetic wave is propagating across B0. B0 is the applied magnetic field. Okay, whereas in hydromagnetic wave, it is parallel to the applied magnetic field. So that is a two important cases, and details about magnetosonic we can discuss on the next class. Okay, so just winding up the session for today.